trauma. Do you have it? I don't know. Trauma? Are you there? Do I have you?
We all fucking have it. Part of the human condition. Are you reactive as fuck? Do you have all sorts of emotional symptoms even when the situation doesn't call for it? Do you struggle in relationships? Do you have all sorts of limiting beliefs? Well then you likely have unhealed motherfucking childhood trauma. Public service announcement. Sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled programming. This is a trigger warning. I will be speaking about several things that might be triggering, like different types of abuse. Not in detail, just so you know. Back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Potty, she talking naughty. Here to help your trouble, she don't judge nobody. Even if you're not at your top and it's a lie, she try to make you see a different train of thought.
Welcome back to my channel. I am the Pottymouth Guru, your friendly and neighborhood East Coast therapist, and I am here to help you learn how to unfuck yourself. Today's topic is, guess what? Fucking trauma. Make no mistake. We all have it. Some more than others, but none that's less painful or impactful than anybody else's. It's not a fucking competition, guys. Pain is not a competition. Yours matters. And someone else's mattering doesn't make yours matter any less. Bam! Don't forget to subscribe. Ding! Today we're gonna cover 5 different ways that unhealed trauma might show up in your life. And there are so many signs that point to unhealed trauma. But today we're just gonna look at these 5 so that you can learn more about your behaviors. In order for you to learn how to get some control back in your life of yourself and to take your power back. Also, to make this more funsies and potentially more relatable, we are going to use examples in pop culture to help give you some insight. Now, the best way to make the most out of this video is to grab your trusty journal, bust that shit out, grab your favorite pen, and write some of these down, especially the ones that sound familiar as fuck. Number 1, control issues. Do you feel the need to be in control all the motherfucking time and like get totally stressed out when you can't be? Big things, small things, because you simply don't trust others. Control issues are ultimately the fear of losing control. If you feel the need to always be in control, you might fear being at the mercy of others. And that often stems from traumatic events and ongoing circumstances that left you feeling helpless and vulnerable. You might have witnessed controlling behavior, or you might have witnessed or experienced abuse. Pop culture character with control issues? Dr. Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. You might remember such moments as when he hyperventilates when somebody sits in his fucking spot on the couch. Or the fact that he has control over Leonard's bathroom schedule. Fucking bleh. And like pretty much his entire life. Why is Sheldon like this? Well, based on what we know about his history, he grew up with an alcoholic father that resulted in like a huge lack of stability or control. And then his dad passed away when he was 14. Both these things worsen economic status. It often increases pressures to the grieving child to take on the role of the deceased parent. And a report from the American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy shows that kids of alcoholics can suffer from repeated abandonment, as well as issues such as chaotic or disorganized home environment, uncertainty, instability, neglect, arguments, violence and or physical or sexual abuse, or the witnessing of violence or abuse. So the setup is there for him to be a total control freak. Does this sound familiar? It does to me. Number 2, people pleasing. Do you find yourself making sure that everybody around you is good but like you? Do you find yourself struggling to say no? Do you find yourself people pleasing and not speaking your truth to diffuse a conflict? Do you feel more secure in a relationship when you're getting approval from others? Do you feel guilty when you get angry at somebody else? This is the fight or flight response called fawn. This is a way of creating safety so that no one is of danger to us. We create this safety in our connections with others by mirroring imagined expectations or desires that they might have of us. Our perception of that though, not their actual thing. Pop culture example of this? I have 2. They both spoke loudly to me, so I wrote about them in my script and then I just, fuck it, I'm gonna put them both in because they're good. The first one is Randall from This Is Us. His crack addict biological father abandons him at a fire station after the biological mother passes away and gets adopted by a white family in a white neighborhood where he goes to white schools. I mean, all that shit without even having to explain it. Of course, he's gonna be a people pleaser. and have anxiety, which she does in the show, which is depicted very well. And I love, by the way, the fact that men struggling with mental health is being depicted here because it's fucking rare, and like, thank God. Men with mental health issues need to be fucking seen as well, okay? He's an overachiever who's absolutely fucking terrified of conflict. He struggles with rigidity and how he's seen to other people, and the way he's perceived by others is really fucking important to him. Hence the people pleasing. His ultimate coping strategy is to make everybody around him happy. These attempts reveal that he has a deep fear of being left alone, being abandoned. Quick little note about people pleasing, and it's a hugely unpopular opinion that people fucking hate, is that people pleasing is actually a manipulative tactic. It's not a conscious one. It's not like people are saying, oh, I'm going to do this nice thing so that this person does this thing that I want them to do. Well, maybe some people are doing it, but that's not what it is. It is ultimately to get people to like you so then you are safe with them. This isn't to be like, fuck you, blamey, fuck you, people pleasing. I'm like the ultimate recovering people pleaser of all time. But when I heard that, I was like, oh, I felt very attacked. But it's true. So just planting that seed, put that in the bank somewhere, bank. The other example of this people-pleasing situation is Charles Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And he says it himself. I'm a textbook people pleaser. I have a serious problem. I mean, the amount of fawning that this motherfucker does with Jake is like out of this world. I mean, he does this with everyone, but no one more than Jake. I mean, it's like everything. It's like if Jake likes something, he fucking loves it. If he comes with something and Jake is like poo-poos on it, then he's like, I hate this thing. And he people pleases very much to his own detriment. He goes along with anything that Jake says. I mean, he was taught by his father. It's like this really weird family tradition that they back down from a fight. And the goal is to not stand up for yourself. Their family crest is a white flag. This is a perfect example of fawning behavior to keep oneself safe. Number 3, seeing threat where there fucking isn't any. Hypervigilance. Do you imagine worst case scenarios all the fucking time? Are you always suspicious of people in your life? Do you think that everyone is secretly out to hurt you? Do you have social anxiety? Do you experience irrational or exaggerated fear in different situations? These are all signs that you might struggle with hypervigilance. This is where you are consciously always anticipating danger. It's a subconscious thing. As much as our brains are wired to look out for potential threats, it is not good for our brains or our bodies to constantly be in this hyper state of fear and fight or flight. This is as a result of people who've been in active combat, survivors of abuse, and experiencing any kind of trauma without any support. Pop culture example, Jessica Jones from the TV show. This is an amazing example of this without it being like overly dramatic. And it's pretty realistic. She has huge issues with anxiety and panic attacks, absolutely massive issues with trusting people. And she is always expecting people in her life to hurt her or for her to hurt them. There's addiction issues, struggles with intimacy. I mean, she's got PTSD right from the very get-go because her parents were killed in a car crash when she was young. She ends up getting taken in by like a highly fucking toxic, abusive woman. She goes through an insanely abusive relationship. It includes like for realsies mind control, but either way, like manipulative, crazy shit is very much like mind control. And there's rape and there's violence and there's crazy emotional abuse, a tearing down and shattering of who she is and her self-esteem, and she has no idea who she is when she comes out of it. So yeah, based on all of that, you're gonna think that everything's a fucking threat. Also relatable. Number 4, all or nothing thinking. Do you use superlatives like nobody's fucking business? I just used one. Always, never, nobody, everybody. Do you give up easily? Do you ignore the good things? Do you treat yourself like a failure if you're not feeling well enough mentally or emotionally or physically to do a task that was on your list? This is the cognitive distortion of our time today. This refers to thinking in extremes. You're either a success or you're a failure. Your performance was perfect or it was fucked up. Had a cheat moment on a diet? You're a fucking failure. One day of not hearing back from your crush after texting them and that's it. They don't like you. They don't want anything to do with you. You're gonna fucking end up alone. Nobody likes you. You're a loser. You get the idea. This kind of thinking prevents us from growth, any kind of adaptation, or enjoying anything that isn't perfect. People who struggle with perfectionism struggle with this, which is also trauma response perfectionism, just saying. Pop culture example, like so many, but I just chose a really loud example to make my point. Miranda Priestly from the devil who wears Prada. Woo! This woman's got a lot of fucking issues. Her favorite combination of words is do it correctly. She's impossible to please. It is her way or the motherfucking highway. It has to be her version of perfect or it's absolute shit. If you're not a size 0, you're fat. What? And here's a quote. Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants to be us. I don't know if that's how she delivers it. I haven't seen the movie in forever, but that was my interpretation. So basically, she's saying, if you're not her, you're fucking garbage. Number 5, fixing others. The fixer mentality. Do you take in all the broken people? Do you try to save people? Do you often think that you can? Do you insist on playing matchmaker to all your single friends? Do you purposely gravitate towards the people that everybody else has warned you against as being potentially dangerous people? This white knight syndrome causes us to establish a relationship with people that we perceived to be broken or damaged or vulnerable. The goal is to rescue and repair them. But most of the time, rescuers take in people with issues that are outside the fuck of their pay grade and ones that mirror their own issues and past that's filled with abandonment, abuse, or loss of an early caregiver. These experiences make them emotionally sensitive and vulnerable. They need to feel needed and useful. They're very self-critical of themselves and therefore kind of devaluing them in order to justify helping them because they're weak. Pop culture example, oh my god, so fucking many. So basically every hero fucking ever. So every comic book movie ever or show. Superman, Harry Potter, Batman. But for now I want to zero in on one show because I am fucking marathoning the fuck out of this show. Heroes. I'm halfway through season 3. And the person I want to talk about is Hiro Nakamura. I love this character. He's the sweetest. And has a thing with rescuer white knight fixing stuff. He very much determines his self-worth based on his ability to save certain characters in the show and pretty much the fucking world. He definitely had early childhood trauma with his mom dying when he was a child and then being raised by like this ultra strict, high-achieving, independently wealthy Japanese father who shamed every single choice that he made that didn't line up with what he wanted for him. So then he discovers that he's got these powers where he can bend time and space. So then he uses these powers to go and save people in the world, and only then does he start to have any fucking value in his father's eyes, from whom he has been seeking fucking approval his whole life. So then all of his value is placed on saving people. And he often throws himself into situations where he's not wanted or he fucks something up because he's like obsessed with saving people. He complicates shit all over the place for the sake of his own destiny to save people in order to have worth. And fixers do that too. They insert themselves into situations and they complicate things and they fuck everything up and the intentions are good, but the outcomes are sign of trauma. Also very familiar. Just saying. There you have it, folks. 5 signs that you might have unhealed trauma. You want to know what I want to know? I want to know which ones you resonate with. How do these show up in your life? Any of them? All of them? Me? All of them, for sure. Thank you so much for sticking around for my video and maybe hopefully learning some stuff. If you like what you see, please hit the like button. Definitely hit the subscribe button. Share this with someone you think will gain value from this, and I will see you next Friday, same bad time, same bad channel, where we will explore more things to help you learn how to unfuck yourself. Peace to your mother.